And with that, I am live. And as you can see, at this point, I am live by myself tonight. And that is because I am still trying to get in touch with Uncle Jessy, who is my guest tonight. And I've been having Twitter problems. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like the messaging on Twitter is not working right now, because when I send a message to Jessy, it is not popping up to the top of my list, and I'm not getting it on other devices either. So maybe if Jessy sees this, he'll know that I have also sent him this on a Facebook message to his Uncle Jessy account. So maybe he'll see it there so he can get this link and join me. But anyway, I'm going to start the show and we will get started when Jessy can join us. Anyway, so tonight we're talking FDM versus resin 3D printing. And as you can see here, I brought my first resin printer with me. And as you can see, it still isn't properly unboxed. This one's brand new to me, and I am looking forward to hooking it up, but I have to finish my work on the E-Cube Maker 4-in-1 that I've been working on. And once that is done, I will be moving on to this, as well as all of you folks that are still waiting on Ender 5 and Ender 5 Plus mods. I have more on my plate than I have time, obviously. So that's not a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. Sorry for all you folks that are waiting on some very specific videos, though, because I know that's what many of you are waiting on. But I do like to mix it up. I have lots of interests here. So I think Island Engineer was talking about this guy right here. So if you wait a little bit longer, I will give you my thoughts on it. This is my first resin 3D printer. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it works as a first shot. Obviously, I'm not unfamiliar with resin. I've been watching plenty of videos from everyone else on YouTube that's been producing terrific videos on how to print, how to safely print with resin, and obviously all of the uses that are available for that technology. So this is obviously one of the smaller form factor ones. This is in line with some of those intro printers that we have from the other companies. But Creality sent me this one. It's been sitting here in a box for way too long, and I'm looking forward to using it. In fact, one of the first things I'm going to come out with for this printer is all of the stuff that I bought in preparation for resin 3D printing, because I wanted to be prepared. I've seen enough videos to know what I should need to successfully print resin, building everything like a light box, doing my curing properly like I'm supposed to, obviously all of the safety concerns that come with resin. And so that is what I'm working on as far as printing with resin. So I wanted to sort of on the eve of me beginning my resin journey, because I'm sure this won't be my last resin printer, I really wanted to get someone who has a lot of experience with resin, and we were just going to chat about the various aspects of printing with resin, how he's still using his FDM printers, because I know he's got his fair share of FDM. But as you probably know, if any of you've seen Jesse's channel, he has in many ways become kind of an epicenter for all of the unboxing and first impressions of resin printer. Obviously, he's got the following to support that. And anyway, give me a second here. You guys are going to have to be a little bit more patient with me, just because, again, I was trying to do my pre-show and everything that I normally do with my guests. And I have been unable to get in touch with Jessy either via, let's see what I've got here, either via Twitter, which is how we were talking, just direct messages. But I've also sent him a message on Facebook. Again, Jessy, if you're watching, wondering why you can't get in here. Again, I'm having problems with Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook Messenger. You can get me there. I sent you one via your Uncle Jessy account there. Anyway, so let's see what we can do here. You know what? I'm going to spend a minute here chatting with you guys in the chat because I've got that up here. And let's see what everyone's been up to. Thank you, Jim. It's good to see you here. I know you got early nights and early mornings, so I appreciate you dropping in. Thanks for the comments on the intro. You know, I have to bring my game up to yours because the Edge of Tech doesn't mean hot makes every week. If you're not following Jim on the Edge of Tech, please do that because, like I said, him and Pooch do an awesome show every Monday night, which is why I'm on Tuesday night. So let's see. Island Engineer, again, he was talking about this one. Good to see you, Dr. Jekyll, again. And Mr. Tripod, good to see you in the house. And I have a lot of people here that have been here before. Let me see. Thomas and HVAC. Let's see. Hamad. I'm going to mispronounce this, and I apologize. Hamad? Maybe I won't mispronounce it. Resin's amazing but messy. I agree. Which is what's taken me so long to do it. I wanted to make sure I had a proper place to work. So once I was able to move the Studio B here out to the garage, that gave me a perfect place to set up resin printing, which, you know, I'm big on safety. I've got 3 kids in the house and don't want this fuming somewhere that's, you know, going to lead to bedrooms or anything like that. I've been real careful. Let's see what we got here. What settings use on my nozzle? Let's see. I don't know if that was directed to me. My standard nozzle sizes. So normally, obviously, everyone gets a 0.4 nozzle. 0.4 is good for general printing. I also like to print with 0.8 for large prints. And lately, I've been printing with 0.5 for my PPE stuff, my face masks. For whatever reason, whoever designed that model designed it with a lot of 1 millimeter measurements. And I had some separation where the 2 walls were really close together but not touching. So I've switched to a 0.5 millimeter nozzle, and that gets rid of that issue. Which filaments? Let's see, which filaments do I use? I talk about it almost everything. I really should include the links in the description at this point. I've been trying to do that. I'm going to make myself a note here to add my Filament 1 links because Filament 1 is my current go-to filament, that and Ziltech, because Ziltech does an excellent job on inexpensive filament. And they almost always have some color in stock. So for the PETG, for example, that I've been printing all of my PPE with, my personal protective equipment, I've been getting that from Ziltech because I can count on them to usually have some color in stock. And with the need for PP, I haven't really cared a whole lot what the color has been. Let's see. Yeah, see, resin printing for a while. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't blame anyone that's saying that they're going to hold off on the resin printing because obviously I do know that is a huge commitment and you need a place to do it. So again, let me check my messages here, see if, again, I'm not seeing Uncle Jessy online. Makes the back and forth a little bit more difficult. So let's see here. Toxic waste. Yeah, definitely toxic waste. Let's see. So what was I going to talk about? So FDM. So I'm obviously not going to be starting off printing my usual large prints, which I have some of these behind me on the shelf here. I'm not going to be printing those on the resin printer. I'm not going to initially have that much space. I am looking forward to it when I finally get something that size. Will I move from FDM completely? I don't think so, because FDM, obviously, as many people know, if people have already commented on, FDM, it's just a lot safer. It's a lot more practical. And I've already got some very great large format FDM printers. My Ender 5 Plus, which is what I'm looking at here over on the floor, it does a great job. And I think the biggest thing is going to be like finishing. I'm looking forward to having easier and less sanding, less puttying, that kind of thing, particularly on curves and stuff. You know, I've shown my some of the larger prints I've done, and there's always somewhere on that print, whether it be a large curve or some other geometry on that, where the FDM side of things really starts coming out unless you're printing at a really low layer height. I showed this, I don't remember, a couple weeks ago probably. This was a 0.08 millimeter mask that I printed FDM, and this thing absolutely is gorgeous. It turned out really, really good. And this obviously wouldn't even fit on here. Something this size would be really nice. Let's see. Getting some noises, but still not Jessy. So this was printed on 0.08. This is the sort of results I'm looking forward to on resin because it's perfectly smooth. I've been meaning to put a coat of primer on here to really bring out the fact that the layer lines are just about gone, and to see how much we're looking at in terms of finishing this. Because with something this detailed, with all of the wood grain, all of the texture on here, it really is a problem if you know, if you have to do a lot of sanding on here, if there's a lot of post-processing that you have to do. So something at least this size in resin would be really good for me. Something you could at least do mask size pieces with, even if you were cutting them and seaming them down the center, that kind of thing. It would be a really nice addition to the shop here. So checking in again. Give me 1 second. I am going to tweet. And I don't know what's going on with my Twitter here. Everything else seems to be doing all right, but sorry about the radio silence here. I'm going to try to do my best radio technique and not get it too quiet, because what we're going to do here, obviously talking resin for an hour by myself, is not what I had planned here. I can talk about some of the other projects I'm doing, but without the back and forth, it wasn't what I had really wanted to present you guys. So we can tackle some other subjects, or we can do a Q&A like I've done plenty of times before. But I think you guys are probably running out of the Q's, even if I have plenty of A's. But, you know, when you're trying to talk and type at the same time, spelling sort of goes out the window. So there's that. Anyway, so what do we have here? Talk about the printer from last week again. Well, I appreciate some of you guys still interested in that printer. Let me see what I've missed here. Oh yeah, hey Thomas, thanks for that. If you haven't liked this video yet, please click like. I have way more viewers at this point than I have likes on this video. I would appreciate the like. Let people know that you're watching. Let's see what we've got. Extruding batter and 3D printing some pancakes. That's awesome. I think Joel was one of the members of that Kickstarter that started the pancake printer. He seemed to have been overall really happy with it. But that was quite some time ago. So I hope I'm remembering that correctly. Let's see. You can always put it on hold for a little bit. Yeah. If I need to put the resin talk on hold because I can't get in touch with Jessy tonight, that's not a problem. We will reschedule. Not the end of the world. Interesting question. I'll let some other people answer this in the chat. But Dr. Jekyll asked, what got me into 3D printing? Where do you see the biggest advancement in the next 5 years? What got me into 3D printing? The initial 3D printer I got was an ANET A8. I originally got it for my son to build along with one of his friends, and we sat at the dining room table over the course of a week assembled those 2 printers, one for him and one for his friend, as a team. And that was their summer camp. That summer was me and the two boys there building a 3D printer from scratch. Not only, obviously, did we learn a lot about building a 3D printer, about how it worked and how you put it together, but we learned a lot about modding from the very beginning, because the ANET was the fire. It was the fire printer. It liked to catch fire because of a lot of underrated components on that main board. So right out of the box, we were putting MOSFETs on it. We were replacing things that may go up in smoke. So a lot of that we did up front. And so that was particularly educational. It was good for the kids. I really enjoyed it. It's funny because my son still uses it as a tool. He will still do projects using the 3D printer, but he's not as into it as I am. So I caught the bug, but he did gain a tool in the process, and we have used it for school. So the second part of your question, biggest advancement, I think, is going to just be, hopefully we'll get some material advancement in filament. I would love to see some material advancement in filament that allowed us to print faster without sacrificing quality. And again, I'm not a material scientist. I don't know what that advancement is going to be. Maybe something that extrudes faster, cools faster. That would be a nice advancement. I think that the stuff that they're doing with resin right now, in terms of the new LCD screens, that the monochrome LCD screens that cure a lot faster, that's a huge step in the right direction, because we're maximizing the time that screen life is going to be, as well as increasing the speed of the printer, which everyone wants. And particularly when you're doing a layer at a time, you're really increasing the speed a lot if each of those layers cures faster. Will the Atari VCS ever come out? Good Atari question. So I am an Atari guy. That was my first game system that I can recall. I still have my Atari 2600 literally hooked up in the living room. It is playable at any moment. I do occasionally pull out a joystick and pop in an old game. I like Yar's Revenge, if you wonder. Yar's Revenge and Frogger and Cubert are probably my 3 favorite games. I don't know if the Atari VCS is coming out. In fact, I have to be honest, and I did not kickstart that one. I was not a member of that Kickstarter. I expected it to come out. I mean, obviously it's Atari. You would hope that they had the backing to do it, right? But I don't know what's holding them up. Although, you know, things like the Google system that came out has not, from what I understand, has not been doing well. And I did think about buying the Google system, but I did not buy one. And apparently a whole lot of other people have not jumped on board either. So maybe that has Atari reevaluating some of their ideas, possibly. So, yeah, that was my first system. My next system was obviously the NES, and also the NES is hooked up in the bedroom all the time. My wife plays NES almost every night. She will pick a game and play it until she has pretty much mastered it, and we'll play it through and play it through, play it through. And we watched a great documentary, and I couldn't remember the name of this documentary. Maybe one of you guys have seen it. We saw this great documentary. It was a lot of fun, about the guy who traveled around over the course of 1 month. It was 30 days. He traveled over the course of 30 days and tried to buy every Nintendo game. I won't tell you how that works out, but it was a lot of fun to watch. That was available on Amazon Prime. That's where we watched that one. So if you're interested in documentaries about geeky, nerdy stuff, which is primarily what me and my wife watch, then go check that out. And it's definitely on Amazon Prime. So without any other questions, and still with no sign of Uncle Jessy, maybe something happened. I hope Uncle Jessy's all right, because I haven't heard from him. But so the other thing that I was being asked about was my E-Cube Maker 4-in-1. If you haven't watched that video, you're not alone. It's funny. I at the very beginning of that video, I talk about how that was that was a printer I chose to do because it was different. I don't want to really bring another i3 designed printer in. I don't want, unless there's something different about it, unless there's something new about it, then I don't want to tackle just another printer. So that was one I took on because it had features that I had not used before. I have never done laser engraving. I have never personally done CNC. I've used CNC. I've seen it done in my presence, but I've never owned a CNC machine myself. And so I picked that one up. But you find these sort of niche printers aren't the most, they don't get a whole lot of views on YouTube, which doesn't really bother me. It bothers me more from the sense that a company sent me a printer. I want to give them the most bang for their buck in terms of coverage. You know, there's never any guarantee that my review is going to be good, but I do give every printer my very best when I start working on it. And I was, you know, you saw my first review. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Go and hit, you know, I'm taking notes. You take notes. Go watch that review if you haven't seen it. I know it's long. If you don't want to see everything, anytime I do a long review, I include the time codes down in the description. So you can always follow the time codes to the parts that you care about. But I was really happy with that printer, especially multicolor printer. I mean, most multicolor printers straight out of the box, I've had problems with. I know Modbot reviewed that printer. He had a problem with it. I don't know what was different on his other than I know I upgraded my firmware and my software. I think he used what came on the printer and what came on the SD card. So maybe there was some advancement there from the original that had shipped on it versus what was available on the website, because mine worked great. And I've still got them right here next to me if you've missed it. So multicolor printing, this is like I said in the video, I know I'm repeating myself, so if you've seen that, my apologies. But this frog just turned out terrific. As you can see, this is about the hardest multicolor print I know to print. But as you can see, it worked great. These are two dissimilar filaments. These are two different brands of filament. They stuck great. They extruded great. And I was really happy with it. So this week, I have been working on part 2 of that review, which is the CNC and the laser. Excuse me. So I've been working on the CNC and the laser, and they have different results. I don't mind giving you guys a little preview, because if you care enough about it, you'll go watch the whole video. So give me 1 second. I will be happy to, let me just, sorry about the slowdown here. Again, I'm just checking all the places. So what we got? So first thing they have you print or laser is this pattern. And it probably looks better in person than it does on camera. It is pretty much so lasers can print either faster, slower, less power, more power. This is an off and on print. So the laser was either pulsing, it was off or on. The detail, the quality in terms of the ability to reproduce very fine lines. The motors were very precise. Very impressed with the laser on that one. I'm still doing my rest of my laser testing, so I don't want to say anything more other than the test print printed really good. I'm calling it printing. You can call it engraving or etching or whatever you want to call it. But the test one came out really well. And I guess while we're talking about it, I can go ahead and show you. I don't know how well this one will show up. I might need something behind it. So This is their sample engraving from the CNC. This one shows up really, really well. I'm going to cover up my face. This one shows up really, really well when subjected to light. It's probably too bright in my studio. But also really, really good etching. So I'm going to leave you with those for now while I'm still doing the rest of my testing. I was really hoping to have that part 2 out this week. That might still happen. It's only Tuesday. But I spent a lot of time in test prints, test gravings. I'm going to call everything a print, you guys, because that's what I do here. So I'm spending my time on it. I'm going to do it right. I want to really make sure that what I tell you, if I'm going to recommend something, that you know all the caveats, you know why I'm recommending it, and you know, always do my best to do my due diligence. There's a lot of, I tell you what, I've got stacks. I'm doing wood. I'm doing more acrylic. Just to give you guys a little preview, I'm doing more acrylic. And I might do leather, but ModBot did some leather, and he had some really good results there. So anyway, let's see what else you guys asked. Thank you, Kurt. Kurt's watching on Facebook. Appreciate it. And what do I think about the Ender 6? I don't think much about the Ender 6 yet. So I will tell you, I have obviously requested my Ender 6 from Creality. I have no idea what the ship date is. I have no idea how quiet it is. Overall, though, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say about it due to the fact I haven't even gotten up close with it yet. There's aren't any videos about it. You know, they've already got Ender. I guess the new Ender 3 replacement has videos and stuff about it. So I'm the best I can tell you on the Ender 6 is I hope I get one. I hope my channel is the first one to get one, kind of like I was able to do with the Ender 5 Plus. But if you want me to get an Ender 6, shoot Creality an email. Let them know that you. I've been real happy working with Creality so far. What else we got? Oh, speaking of Creality, I'll go ahead and mention this midstream here. I might be on Creality's live stream tomorrow morning, depending on where you are in the world. So, Creality's streaming fairly regularly. I have told them I will do tomorrow night's stream, so that's my plan. So if you're around and you are subscribed to Creality, either on YouTube or Facebook or both, I don't know where this stream will be. It will be on their channels and not mine, though. So I think I'll be guesting with a couple other people. So check that out if you want to see me talking with Creality again. Tripod mentioned that the machines are too small. Yeah. One thing, I'll go ahead and say this now. This is about as big as you can CNC on that print bed. So it's definitely a hobbyist sort of machine. You can make coasters with it. You can do little signs with it. You know, hang something on your laundry room door or whatever. It's a first step. As I told you in my original review of this machine, the 3D printer is excellent. The size on some of, it's small for a 3D printer too, but for someone that doesn't have a lot of space, or someone that's new to the hobby, or someone, like I said in the original review, that just wants a printer that just prints and they can just set it and forget it, it's still a good little machine for that. Let's see. Laser etching. I think laser etching is going to be a nice feature. I know I wanted to use it on some particular jobs, although I think the CNC may be more useful than I expected it to. I'm going to try to do another project here soon that's going to utilize that pretty heavily, and that wasn't, I'm not using it as an advertisement for the printer necessarily, but it's one of those things I wanted to make, and there's not just 3D printing with it. And so I'm not going to give that away because I'm still working on it and I don't have an ETA for it. But I'm going to use the CNC for it. I'm going to use the 3D printing for it, and we're going to see how it looks. Although I may 3D print on here as well. We got, hey, Dan, nice to see you. I see Thomas is also waiting to see on the Ender 6 because he's a little confused with some of the design choices, and I agree with you. What happens with the pool of resin if you leave your printer for an extended period of time, like if you go on holidays? Don't know. As long as you keep the cover on it, it could potentially dry out if you left it too long. It shouldn't cure, obviously, because UV light can't get to it. But yeah, if I was not planning on 3D printing anytime soon, I've got a funnel, and I plan on just draining that out, putting it back in the bottle to keep it fresh, and then I can reuse it later. So that would be my recommendation there. I wouldn't suggest leaving it for extended periods of time. Let's see here. Oh, apparently my stream froze. Hit the live button. What happened? Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about any streaming issues. I'm hardwired, guys. I switched to hardwire in the garage here. I did some crazy stuff, but I have a hardwire. So any streaming issues, I have done everything I can to prevent. So let me see. Anyway, still no word from Jesse. Like I said, I hope everything is all right with him. Jesse, if you're out there, sorry I missed you, buddy. You can still come in anytime if you happen to see any of the messages I've sent you. But anyway, what else is up with you guys? What other questions we got? Because again, I'm off my game here, given this was not the plan for this evening. What else I got? Failure rate. So one thing I wanted to ask Jesse, and I will bring this up when he gets to make it back here, was I was curious about what kind of failure rate people were seeing. I was curious what sort of failure rates people were seeing versus FDM. I mean, I think we all know that one of the banes of FDM is failures, whether it's coming off the bed, whether a support breaks, whether your nozzle knocks something loose, whatever the case may be. Those aren't things that you typically see. So I am curious what kind of failure rates people are seeing. I don't think that I've heard a whole lot of failures from resin. So that among itself could be a huge benefit of just less wasted time of I left it going overnight. Now I have a pool of spaghetti. Let's see. So this is interesting. Yeah. So Jim said he just shot me a message on Twitter. Did I get it? And the answer is no. I do not know what's going on. This is really bizarre. My entire Twitter direct messaging is just out. So I don't know if they're having, this is what happens when you plan something. You can't count on these systems. So next time I need to get Jesse's text because I am out of luck here. Yeah, I am not getting. I was able to send messages this morning because I was messaging one of my future guests, but as of right now, I did not get your message, Jim. Sign out and back on. Well, what's weird, Jim, is I'm not getting it on my phone or in my browser. But you know what? I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to log out of my browser. Yeah, let's try this. Although it's probably going to want to do some sort of crazy two-factor authentication. Let's do this. Yeah, two-factor. Let's see. Am I getting text messages? Yeah, I'm getting text messages. There we go. So you guys can bear with me. I appreciate you hanging out. Again, hey, while we're waiting, you can like this video. Go ahead and queue up my last review. Oh man, guys. This is a Tuesday night. So messaging, no, still nothing. This is crazy because I am not getting gems. All the ones that I thought that I had sent Jesse before have disappeared out of my queue, like I never sent them. So I have logged back in. I'm going to send this to him again. I haven't sent him a straight tweet that someone liked, so I know Twitter itself was liking was working. Yeah, see there. Mr. Jeffrey Wright was nice enough to like that, to know that it actually did go out. But again, last time Jesse retweeted something was 9 hours ago. So, but it still doesn't really explain what's going on with mine to begin with. But hey, guys, I don't want to lose you with me talking about all the shit that's broken. Anyway, very strange. Okay. Anyway, back to the questions and answers, because that's what we're doing. Because I am going to try to stay on here at least till 10, because that's what the plan was. Again, Jim, I appreciate you trying to help out sending that over. Don't know what's going on. I'd be curious to know if it even left your queue or if direct messaging is down altogether. Or is it just me? The direct messaging just died for me tonight. What's going on with the droid? The droid is right here. So the droid is still just ahead. Look, it's a droid. That's how far I've gotten. That will come as soon as I'm done with these reviews that I have promised that I will take care of. Oh, I think I told you guys this in another stream, but I will go and say Kodak hooked me up with an entire another box of filament to finish that droid. So Kodak definitely want to be a part of this. If you haven't seen that Kodak review, head over to that video that's on the channel too. All the links to Kodak filament are in that description. And I'll put them down in this description after the video is over, because they took care of me. They really wanted to be a part of it. They were happy with that first video I did. And what else can I say? There will be a droid, I promise. Nylon printing. I should start clicking on these. Can print test cubes perfect, but having issue chewing up filament on larger prints. Humera at 0.5 millimeter. Let me see. What size nozzle possibly? Let me think. What else would I test? What kind of larger prints are we talking about? Are we talking about highly detailed models? Are we talking about geometric prints? How much retraction are you doing? Those are all the questions I would ask. So if you want to answer some of those in the comments, we'll get back to you. Switching Ender 5 Plus to direct drive, is it worth it? Well, since I haven't done it, I would say no. but there's a caveat there. It really depends on what you're printing. Obviously, if you're printing flexible filaments, then yes, doing direct drive on there could make a big difference to you, because if you don't go direct drive, then you're still going to be playing with a squishy filament and a long tube, since it's such a large printer. So if you're going to do a lot of flexibles, I do recommend going with the direct drive. But to answer your question, and I think I've mentioned this before, doing these every week, I step on myself, I know. But I am going to be doing a Humera. I have one, and I'm going to be attaching it to my Exo slides, because the Exo slides already have a mount. So that will really help. I think if you're going to go direct drive, go Humera. It's a lot lighter than just going direct drive. And now I may change my mind if I like Micro Swiss stuff. If they want to send me one of theirs when they have an Ender 5 version of their direct drive, I'll be happy to take a look. Let's see. This will keep me from having to read it out loud. Yeah, well, hey, congratulations, Stewie, for bringing home your first printer. Leveling can be a nightmare. I have been handling a lot of questions. I get a lot of emails and messaging on different platforms for the out-of-the-box issues that they have with the Ender 5 Plus. In fact, there may be a really short video coming out for people having a major issue out of the box. I've been getting the question a lot, so there may be a short video. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Nope, no password problem, Jim, because, like I said, I was able to get back in. Wouldn't the filament need to move to the top? Did I miss one? Hey, looky there. Well, I have to say, StreamYard just paid for itself, because while I had to disconnect because my laptop literally shut itself down for no apparent reason. Time for beer. Yes, tripod beer. I've had beer the whole time. I'm really happy about it. Appreciate guys. You guys are the best for sticking around. But StreamYard just paid for itself because it kept the stream live even though I wasn't here, which if I was streaming from my laptop, I would be dead in the water. So anyway, now I have to remember this is a hell of a night. Look at there. But anyway, what was the last question I was on? Yes, Jacob, I have a Humera. I've had one ever since Christmas, and this is the sad state of being a YouTuber, because I don't want to not show it to you if I attach it to the printer. But hey, you know, one thing I can say, I'm still printing with the printer all the time. It's not doing anything wrong without a Humera, and it will be hopefully better with it. So there we go. Jim asked, would the filament need to move to the top? Absolutely. You'd have to move. You'd either have to make a rack for it or you know, how many people have I seen that have moved theirs to some sort of overhead filament delivery system? Jacob says he's on the list for that Micro Swiss. Copperhead coming soon. He was part of the Kickstarter. Well, I'm going to watch for your video, Jim. I was not part of the Kickstarter. I'll tell you why I wasn't part of the Kickstarter, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's because there was no direct mounting option to any of my printers. So if they have a direct mounting option that they're going to be providing, me not having to print a new mount for that, then that would be great. But I didn't want to have to remount it. Plus, I'm really happy with my Micro Swiss. They are drop-in replacements, and they work really, really well. What's the issue? Which issue? Issue with the 5 Plus or with shipping? Let's see. Yeah, I was really concentrating there. What filament need to move to the top? Yes, we already covered that one. So I'm going to leave that right there because that's the evening that I'm going through. Coming right back. Party while Kris is gone. Yeah, no moderator. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, hey, if anyone's to blame for this computer shutting down, it's Microsoft, because I don't usually use the Windows side of this computer very much. So anyway, Windows greets me. It's called Microsoft. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to keep up. Let's see. Yeah. Micro Swiss Direct Drive looks really nice. Again, I would be happy to test it. I'm sure they'd be happy to send me one whenever it becomes available. But I did hear that their Ender 3 isn't compatible. So anyway. Let's see. So Tom says I can mount the Copperhead to any major hot end. So haven't tried it. So Jim, I'm looking forward to seeing you do a video on it when you get it, and I'm sure there will be plenty of other folks doing that as well. Let's see. So Drone Pilot was having some nylon issues. New hard nozzle, large print was 110. I'm going to read this. You guys read along while I read to myself. Let's see. Large print. So that shouldn't have been a whole lot of retractions. Auto rewind spool holder. Why were you using a... okay. What's with the auto rewind spool? I haven't used one of those. I'm wondering, could there be too much back pressure on that nylon, on that filament? I don't know. Again, I haven't used one of those before. That may be a little warm for the nylon. I know I don't usually, most of the nylons I've tried are not that hot. So make sure you check with the manufacturer that that's the nylon or the temperature that they recommend. But otherwise, you know, just me sitting here and you sitting there, I don't think I have any other explanation for you. All right. So we are approaching the hour mark again with Twitter doing its job and Jessy possibly trying to get, hey, I'll definitely give Jessy the benefit of the doubt. He could be trying to get in touch with me and not having any more luck than I am. So let's see. A lot of people are liking my tweet, trying to figure out where Jessy is. But there we go. Any other questions? So go ahead and give you my order of what's coming up. I have part 2 of the CNC and laser engraving. I've got the Ender 5 Plus mod with the 2 different main boards. I have the most requested video on my channel, and I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know if anyone would even guess what it is, but it's the most requested video I've had in comments is, can you make a video showing me how to do this? So it's a how-to. It'll be one of my under 10-minute video series that I've only done one of. Hey, Steven, thanks for joining us. But yeah, so that's my most requested video. It'll be a quick how-to. I'm going to be showing my method for doing something, and I might get that out this week or next week, depending on how this part 2 of this printer goes. Let's see. Santiago is asking about an enclosure. Which enclosure? What you're looking at here? This is the top of my resin printer. Here, let's give a better look at that. Apparently, there we go. So this is the LD002R from Creality. Jim has already reviewed it, taken a first look at it. He seemed to be pretty happy with it. And if you guys are wondering about the Creality enclosure, I still have 2 of those that I was going to do full reviews on, and I still would like to. But if I have to be honest, the review that Teaching Tech did on it kind of stole my thunder a little bit. So if you're curious about the Creality enclosures, go watch Teaching Tech's video on those, because he pretty much covered it. It really did take the wind out of my sails a little bit, because I have all the stuff I was going to do. It's going to be very similar to his. And if you guys know me, if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that one of the things I don't like to do is recreate other people's videos, unless it's just for some reason really highly requested that I do one myself, which is the case with this how-to video coming up, because plenty of people have done this how-to video, but for whatever reason, people keep asking me to do one too. So again, I might still review those Creality enclosures. I feel like I owe it to them because they did send them over to me for review. But I need to find a spin on it. I need to find some way to present it that's different than what my original thoughts were. That's just how my brain works. Again, I don't like to duplicate other people's results. If this was science, then I would just be confirming, which is a great paper that you can confirm someone else's results. Not the best thing for YouTube, though. Not really what people are looking for. Oh, let's see. Tripod's already done one also. So, you know, that's a path taken at this point. Not to mention, now it's getting warmer here. I need it less and less because my garage is not particularly cold during the spring and summer. Well, I appreciate that. Excuse me. Yeah, can't talk anymore. I appreciate that, Dutch. Thanks. And that's what I figured. Some people like my delivery, and I really appreciate that you enjoy what I'm doing here. So I know I do try to be very methodical, and people that does resonate with certain people, and so thanks. So I am going to wrap it up here early tonight. You guys have been an excellent audience as always. Thank you for all the interaction. Thank you for sticking around, even though my guest was not available this evening. I'm sure that Jesse and I will reschedule. I will have either Jesse on next week, or I will have a different guest. I actually have a couple of lined up. And I hope you like this format. So let me talk about that real quick, because I'm really enjoying the format of what I'm doing here, which is where I pick a topic based upon the co-host that I want to have on that particular show. And then the show is a mix of an interview with the co-host, because they're my guests and I'd like to know more about them, questions I've wanted to know. And it's a mix of that and discussion of the topic. And so I really like this format. I think it's fun for me. It's fun for the guest. It's fun for the audience. And that's what I'm really going for, is something that's possibly a little bit different in format from what I've seen others. And so that's what I'm doing. I hope you guys are enjoying the format. So See, I was wondering if that was going to be him. Just as I was ready to get off, it was not him. So again, I will have more guests each week. Every now and then I will take a week off to spend a Tuesday with the family. But I hope you will keep tuning in. I've got a good crowd here, and I always appreciate you guys for sticking around, for chatting with me, for having excellent questions. And let me close out by saying, if you haven't liked this video, hit the like on the video first. If you want to know more about the... Can I pick it up? Can I pick it up without messing anything up? If you want to know more about this guy, please stay tuned into the channel. The part 2 of that review will be up soon. Obviously, what we were talking about tonight, resin printing. I will have at least 2 videos initially on that one. Again, preparing for a resin printer from a person that hasn't done it before yet, as well as the review of my first resin printer from Creality. And so that's what's coming up, as well as more Ender 5 Plus. So the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, Creality, I should be on tomorrow night with Creality, whether it's on their YouTube channel or on their Facebook live video. And so if you want more of this, but with a couple of other guests and Creality there, I know they've got some topics. I'm not going to spoil that for them. So please tune in to Creality's channel tomorrow night. Again, thanks again. If you were wondering about the filaments or the Kodak filament, or what else did I have down here? If you're wanting to know about some of the stuff we talked about tonight, I will include comments, or I will include it in the description. Just come back here, watch later. Again, thanks everybody for... we got people coming in right as I'm closing out here, and I don't want to be rude and not say hello to Gato77. I'm going to give you the last word there. It's going well. Thanks, Gato. We're about closing up here. Again, a little earlier than usual, but a solid hour of talking about a little bit about what I came here to talk about, but a lot of 3D printing. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time on Kersey Fabrications. Bye, everybody.